Welcome to Lowcountry View with Earl Yates. I'm your host, and today my guest is Mark Weisner. I know most of you have probably not heard of Barefoot Sports, but I'm sure you've done a lot of the events that he's ran, whether it's running or swimming or something like that. Mark has had his hand in. You know, he's a physical fitness guru, I would like to say. I mean, he's told me that he's not, but you know, anyone that puts on events that people can strive for better health and do things like running, things that I can't do or don't do anymore, I'm pretty inspired by. So to find out that Mark was a key contributor to a lot of the events that happen in running here on the island, it was a very, very special thing to be able to get in touch with him and have him on. So, Mark.
Thanks, Earl.
How are you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty fantastic. It's good to know about your radio background. That means I can leave the show completely up to you. Earl Yates, my name's on the screen, so well, I've done my introduction, so you just talk the whole time. You know?
What I didn't mention, it was sales. It wasn't, it wasn't actually being a DJ. But after 20 years on Hilton Head, I hope someone's heard of Barefoot Sports, because we've been around a long time and helped raise a lot of money for charities and put on some good events, we think.
Okay, just to give the viewers a little background about yourself, of course, you know, we can go for miles and miles about Barefoot Sports because you've done so much for the community the last 20 years. Let's talk a little bit about who Mark is, how long you've been here, where you're from, everything like that.
Oh, that real exciting stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, well, I've been here almost 30 years, which, you know, I've seen a lot of changes, most of them for the good, you know, and wife and 2 kids and live out in Bluffton and, you know, plugging along. Every day's great being here, you know. We have a great winter this winter. It's been nice and warm, been able to take advantage of being outside, which is great, don't you think?
Absolutely. I think it's a phenomenal thing to be in a situation where you can look at weather.com, go onto the Weather Channel or turn the tube on and see people being feet of snow, you know, under, and you look at us and you know, you got a short sleeve shirt.
Well, I'd be in short sleeve pants too if I didn't know I was going to be on TV today. So probably flip flops too. Yeah, right.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Of course, that's the reason why you came to Hilton. That's the reason why most people relocate to Hilton Head. It was very interesting how we were speaking before, how per capita, this is probably the most influential place when it comes to youth or even family situations where you come here once just for a vacation, whether it was a neighbor told you about it or you heard about it, however, and decide that, you know what, this is where I want to be completely.
Right.
So how has that transformed your life, not only from the relocation standpoint, but also how you chose to go forth and create Barefoot Sports?
Well, you know, our climate changes all the time. As we plan events, you know, we look at the one time of year that's probably not the greatest time of year to do anything is August, because, you know, it's relatively hot. And then as you move into September, we have to start worrying about the hurricanes. So we look at probably that more than anything. We try to stay away from hurricane season. Other than that, we go full bore almost all the time. There's always something to do, you know, some activity. All of our events are tied in either to a holiday or some type of special activity that make them unique from other activities that are going on.
Now, obviously you were a runner, an avid runner, and in order to start this.
Well, I don't know about avid, but yeah, I ran. I played soccer, so there was plenty of running involved with soccer. You know, I'm a little big to be running marathons myself or half marathons, but the 5 and 10Ks, sure. You know, so done them, and you know, kind of liked doing that, and wanted to promote health and fitness and do family events that help charities. So that's kind of where we do that. We have the family stuff, and then we have the adult stuff with the beer festivals, and then we have the team sports with the soccer.
Well, give me a rundown as far as the list of events that Barefoot Sports puts on a yearly basis here, not only on Hilton Head but in Bluffton.
Well, you know, we start off our next event as a Hilton Head Half Marathon, which will be the 10th year, and that's coming up on February 11th. Hopefully we'll get to talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes. We have a run for the St. Patrick's Day called the Shamrock Run, which actually this year it's actually on St. Patrick's Day, which is kind of neat. I don't think we've ever had that before. 4th of July we have a big run called the Firecracker Run. It's one of the top 10 races in South Carolina. It's for its size, and it's a 5K. It's about 1,500 people we expect this year. We do the Hilton Head Bridge Run, which celebrated its 20th anniversary. And we do the Hilton Head Jingle Bell Run, which is over by the hospital. It's a holiday run. And we do some events in Bluffton as well. New Year's Day run there, and a run bike run in Bluffton.
Well, for some reason I heard beer in there.
And there's beer, yeah. We used to do beer festivals way back when, up until 2003. And just real quickly, back then, beer kind of got boring because it was only a 5.0 state, and most of the craft beer back then tasted like Samuel Adams. So between those two things, after 3 or 4 years of serving people the same beer here on Hilton Head and some of the other markets we were in, it was time to stop. Well, since then, about 3 years ago, they changed the alcohol content of beer from 5.0 to higher in South Carolina, which means there's a lot more beers like from Belgium and other countries that become available. So we decided to host a beer festival in Bluffton in November, and it was a big success. We had a lot of people there. We had a lot of great beers from around the world, a lot of American craft beer, and that's really improved dramatically too over the last 5 or 6 years. They're making much better beer in the United States than they ever did before. So it's kind of fun doing beer festivals. So we got some other beer festivals planned this year. We're going to do a high gravity event in March in Bluffton, and then a summer fest featuring summer and seasonal beers on the island this summer. So the more information on that will be coming soon.
Well, something tells me you have more participation in the beer events than the running.
Well, actually, the half marathon, we should have over 1,000 people. So
wow, that's pretty serious.
Pretty good, yeah.
That's a lot of running.
Yeah, a lot of running. So.
Well, let's get to it then. Tell us a little bit about the Hilton Head Marathon, half marathon.
All right. Well, the Hilton Head Half Marathon is coming up, like I said, February 11th. We expect over 1,000 people between the 3 events. It's a half marathon, a 5K, and a 10K. We expect somewhere around 700 in the half marathon and 200 in each of the other races, the 5K and the 10K. It starts at Jarvis Creek Park, benefits 3 local charities, which is Volunteers in Medicine, Hilton Head Rotary Club, and then the Hilton Head High School girls softball team are charities for this year. So they're all involved, and yeah, it's a pretty fun event, and it's the 10th year for that one. It's, like I said, starts at Jarvis Creek Park, kind of runs around towards Indigo Run, over the Cross Island Parkway, back through the woods, and kind of back up, and finishes at Jarvis Creek Park. You've been to Jarvis Creek Park?
Absolutely.
It's beautiful,
it's
isn't
phenomenal.
It? It's great.
I mean, just to walk there is a good thing in itself.
So it's an amazing setting. You know, we're fortunate that's parking across the street for all those people. So that's where the whole thing's hosted from, and plugging along.
Now, it takes a whole lot of coordination, of course, as far as you dealing with outside sources, because Jarvis Creek is one thing. I mean, but then you think about the Cross Island. I mean, what you have to go as far as timing and struggling to actually have the town understand, okay, I got this race going on. Right. What does it take for you to put that venue on? Well,
you know, there's got to be coordination with South Carolina Department of Transportation, who actually owns the highway. So we got to clear it through them. We have a great relationship with the Beaufort County Sheriff's Department. They'll come out and you know, work with us as far as providing the officers to make sure the race is safe, because obviously that's the most important thing. If we can't have a safe race, then we can't have a race. So they come out and work with us. Of course, the town gives us the permits to put the event on. You know, with the parks, we got to make sure that's done. Everything. So there's a lot involved there, you know, but it's all part of the deal. And the ultimately is for people when they come to not worry about any of that stuff, and it's seamless, and it's a nice event that they can just go enjoy, and all the volunteers are out there having a good time, and it portrays Hilton Head in a positive, you know, a positive light, and that's kind of what we strive for, to make it a good event for everyone who participates.
Now, you have this event on Hilton Head, which it's a place where it's, I mean, we're fortunate enough to be world known.
Right.
Now, your event is the 10th annual event for. So 10 years being in a location where so many people around the world know about. Since you've established yourself, have you seen a high fluctuation of say, worldly talent come to run your event?
Well, this is kind of a little market, you know. We're limited as far as the course. I think people would rather see us run through some, you know, plantations and, you know, that kind of stuff. We're not able to do that, obviously, because there's private property. They don't want us running through plantations. And we don't have a huge purse, as per se, as in, you know, some of these other races might offer $10,000 for someone to come in and run in it. But to answer your question is, last year we had the Grandmaster female world record holder come and run in the race last year. I forget her name, but she came and participated. And every once in a while you'll hear from someone who'll want to participate. But we don't have, like, you know, a group of elite athletes that'll come and participate. The event's more set up for the 1,000 people or 1,200 people to give them all a good time. We don't really kind of go after the elite athlete. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a treat everyone fairly and make sure it's fun for the first place finisher and the last place finisher. We've seen a large increase of youth runners at like 12 years or younger even, and it's a tribute to the schools, because a lot of the schools in the area now have little road running programs. So they'll get the kids and they count how many miles they do over the course of the week, and each quarter they'll do a presentation, and we really push those kids, give them an information on the races. We give discounts to Beaufort County students to come out and participate in the races, and some races more than others. But with the 5K and the 10K and the half marathon, you do get families coming out. So the mom and the dad might run the half marathon, and the kids will do the shorter distances. So it's pretty cool, and it is. We really focus on making them family events.
This has been the first half of Lowcountry View with Earl Yates. Of course, Mark Weisner, Barefoot Sports. He's putting on the Hilton Head Half Marathon. I mean, it's an event that I'm sure that everyone wants to participate in, or at least show up and support everyone and someone who's in it. It's February 11th. Take care, and we'll see you in just a little bit. Welcome back to Lowcountry View with Earl Yates. I'm your host, and today is my very, very good friend, Chris Rogers. I'll do my best to keep this show as laid back as possible, but of course you'll see that we'll have a lot of fun because Chris and I are very, very good friends, and but we're also here for a very serious reason as far as Chris and his art. I'm sure if you've gone to Roastfish Cornbread, or even lately to Santa Fe, you have seen all of Chris's art. He is the artist that's done all that fabulous work in both of those restaurants. Of course, the last time we came on, Chris was pushing his, he has a Michael Jackson line, which is on sale, and you'll actually see some of the pieces in his exhibit that's coming up on the 26th of February, which is the reason why he's here. But he's also here because, man, whether it's on TV or not, I love the dude's company, so to have him here for a real purpose is just an excuse for me to get a buddy on, and you have the third set of eyes on what's going on between me and Chris. Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Yates, how are you, sir?
I'm doing quite fantastic.
Excellent, excellent.
Of course, you've already, the two previous times that you've been on the show, you've already given out your information, but for those who don't already know you, don't know much about you, give a little bit of Hilton Head history of Chris Rogers.
Well, for those of you who don't know, grew up on the island, went to school, kindergarten through 10th grade before I moved to Atlanta, and came back after college. And yeah, I've just been here ever since. Just feels good to be home, just working on art, trying to build up my business. So
now with your art, of course we'll get to that real quick, but there's so much other things you've done in life besides your art. Just to give little insights, of course, athlete, just great friend, everything else, what you've done as far as here on the island before you dove completely into your
Before
work.
I dove, okay. Yeah, just came up playing, hockey, soccer, baseball. Well, it started out as roller hockey, then ice hockey, and yeah, that's what got me into prep school up in Connecticut, and what furthered my career up into college and what have you, up in Maine, upstate New York, and it's just been it's been a process, it's been a journey. So ever since then, now it's all art.
Now you have your art. There's a period of time, of course, that we were together, working together,
right,
in the food and beverage industry here, and since then, it's you've now made it to where you are completely drenched into your art. Of course, you've submerged yourself. So the inspiration, I can just see how much, how much more passion you have for it now, because, before it was a part-time thing for you. It was your love, but it was a hobby.
It was a love. It was a hobby, but life has changes, and you evolve as a person, and I've evolved with my art. As long as I could hold a pencil, I've been painting, you know, and drawing and sketching and whatnot. I mean, I still to this day have, you know, sketches from like 2nd grade that my mom saved for me of like Ninja Turtles and whatnot. So, I mean, as long as I've been, you know, I just came out of the womb sketching, I bet. But yeah, this is what I want to do. It's something that, it's a passion of mine, unlike athletics, that I can pursue over a lifetime.
Yes.
You know, I could be 90 years old with one leg and one arm and still doing it. If you know, if that's my plan, if God willing. So
Hopefully it's the correct arm.
you know.
Now, okay, one of the venues where they can go see your work probably would be what I would call your postcard of your artwork is Roastfish Cornbread. Not only because it's a lot there, but also you did it. It's done in stages only because it was not something that you particularly planned on doing in the volume in which was done, but you've somehow made it all tie together to where it's just phenomenal. I mean, it looks like one complete piece, even though it was done in stages. Tell us a little bit about it. Tell us your beginning inspiration once you got there and how the end product became where it is now.
Well, I guess it was at the beginning of the summer that Chef David, Roastfish Cornbread, the owner, he contacted me and he was interested in just these 2 pieces on the wall. They were, I guess, the old setup of the restaurant. It had 2 windows that kind of peered into the kitchen, and they had painted the back so you could no longer see through the kitchen, but in the actual dining hall, you could still see the windows. So he wanted something to be painted over those, and I came in and did it. Probably took a few weeks off and on, and once I got done with those, you know, he had another idea, and we bounced ideas off each other, and then 3.5 months later, it's pretty much the entire restaurant, you know. So yeah, it was just a nice evolution of ideas between me and myself, Chef David, and his wife Janet. So, yeah.
Well, for me, I mean, I've done a little bit in the artist realm. I'm not an artist by any means, but I think I really saw who you are as an artist once you came into Roastfish Cornbread. Because of course, I have what I believe is the best piece of art you've ever done. I have it personally hanging in my house. But
kind of want that back.
But to see you actually going there and everything was pretty much ad-libbed. There was no sit down and say, this is exactly what I want. Here's a picture. It was all built from inspiration of what you wanted to lead through. And as time went on, you kept tying one piece into the other piece, even though, like we said earlier, this was not a staged painting. So it must be a wonderful thing to have your work on display in probably one of the most popular restaurants on the island.
Yes, indeed. The best part about it, and I think I speak for any artist, I mean, no matter the facet or, you know, musical, whether it's literary, you know, visual, that was one of the best things about working at Roastfish Cornbread is, yes, Chef David and his wife, we bounced ideas off each other, but they gave me the artistic freedom to do, you know, whatever. They would just point in a direction and let me just go wild. So that was, you know, bar none, one of the best feelings. And, you know, it led to, you know, my recent commission over at Santa Fe Cafe. You know, I did some work at the upstairs canteen outside there, and he's got me work on a really good-sized mural inside too. And Marshall, one of the owners over there, pretty much the same way as Chef David, just, you know, I bounced some ideas off him, he threw some at me, and basically just let me run with it. So couldn't be happier with that.
Absolutely. It's almost like you're painting at home, but you got your work on display in a public area and getting paid for it. Now, one of the biggest reasons, absolutely, money. You know, money is not. Life is not about money, but it's a necessity in order to have a good one.
Yes, indeed.
The main reason we're here is your art expo you have coming up on the 26th, Sunday, at Roastfish Cornbread. From the beginning, of course, you know, you and I have gone over your art, looking at it and saying what your favorite pieces were, how long it took, and everything like that. Now you've actually established a time and a date where you can put all of your art on display for those who want to come. Tell us a little bit about it, how it came about, how it was inspired, and now how it's coming to a point, coming to a head right now.
Well, it's actually, I mean, it's like a small dream come true, because I mean, I've been talking about having an exhibition for years now, and it wasn't until about a month ago that it actually started to come to fruition. And you know, everything happens for a reason, everything happens in its own good time when it's supposed to happen, and I feel like right now is perfect, because Chef David's going to be opening up the doors for me for that last Sunday in February, where I'm going to be once again painting the entire walls, displaying all my work, some of which have been, you know, in the works for years, that I'm just now finishing. And there's going to be some new stuff. It's just going to be an eclectic, just spectrum, the complete wide spectrum of all that I did, all that I do, and all I'm capable of doing. So it's going to be open to any and everybody. It's going to feature actually Mr. Whitley Deputy, who plays at the Jazz Corner, wonderful artist and a good friend of mine. Go Falcons! And he's going to be coming in and playing, providing some nice atmospheric music for the night. And I kind of wanted, the way I've envisioned it is not just like a you know, stuffy walkthrough of like checking out, you know, some nice artwork, but you know, kind of like a social gathering, you know, where you know, friends, people meet up, and kind of like a party almost, you know, just a nice, low-key, fun-loving, good night. And everything that's going to be on display is going to be, you know, for sale at, you know, very, very reasonable prices. So I hope everybody that sees this will want to come out and at least check it out for a minute, because it'll be a night to remember for sure.
Well, Chris, it's a pleasure, man. I can't, for me, I'm excited for you to know that you have that exhibition going on, because, like I said, February 26th is not only your dream come true, but it's something I've wanted for you for so long, because I've had you on the show not only because I, you know, have how much love I have for you and how much I would like you to be out there, but because this is something that you've strived for so long, and to see it coming in, I'm so sorry that I'm not going to be able to attend, but you know, I'll be there in some. Yes, absolutely. I'll be there somewhere.
I know.
Chris, thank you very much for coming
sir.
on.
Appreciate it.
This has been Lowcountry View, of course, Chris Rogers. The easiest way to see some of Chris's work is to visit him on Facebook if you have not already been there. You'll see a lot of the things he's done. Also, special art pieces that he's done outside of Santa Fe, and Roastfish Cornbread. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Mark was wonderful in the first section, and of course having Chris on was wonderful. Hope you've enjoyed yourself. Have a great day.